What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Quarantined with Lavell. I'm excited to be here, and I was looking back. I was like, wow, it's the 5th episode already. So we've been doing this for almost a month now. So this has been a lot of fun. Had a lot of great guests on the show. My very first guest was my own pastor, Apostle Diane Washington, and my associate pastors, Pastor Jimmy and Carol Davis. We talked about ministry and just, life in general as a Christian. The next 2 episodes, I had to split up the cast. It was just too much to handle with all 10 of them. So I did five of the cast members from Issues of Blood on one Thursday, and then I did the other 5 on the next Thursday. That was a lot of fun, just chopping it up with them and just having a good time laughing and reminiscing about the show. Last week, I had my boy Jay Will on, who was one of the music writers for the show, really good friend of mine. We had a lot of fun. And this week, today, I have my brother, Pastor Chioke Bracy, joining me on the show today. So I'm excited to have him. Brother, I've been knowing for over 30 years. You can't look at him and tell, but it's been a lot of fun knowing him and just working with him in ministry at Trinity and then over at Shiloh. But we're gonna get all into that and talk about that a little bit in just a little bit. So, first thing, just in case anybody wants to comment, you have to give Facebook permission. So if you just take a quick second, you can run over to my website. It's right here, kneeldownproductions.com. Go right over there, click on the quarantine tab. At the very bottom, there's a link. Click that link, hit OK, and you're done. It literally takes 45 seconds. And that way, when you comment, just in case you have any questions for Chioke or for me, then you can make comments, and we'll know who you are. If you don't, it's just going to say Facebook user, and we won't know who you are until after the show ends when I go back and rewatch it. So if you have a second, run over to kneeldownproductions.com, click the quarantine tab. There's a link at the bottom. Click that, hit OK, and come on back and join us. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this, go ahead and just hit share, start a watch party, whatever, just to make sure that as many people see this as possible. All right. So right before we bring my brother in, I wanted to say something. So my wife and I, this was a few years ago. We started to go to work out. I was getting a little belly there, and I said, I want to start working out. She went with me. She didn't have to. She did it just to support me. Bless her heart. She already looks phenomenal. She never said it, but I knew she was just going to back me up. So I wouldn't look like a fat slob. So she went with me. But we were going to my boys' boot camp, J.C. Jones boot camp. I highly recommend John Jones. You can find him on Facebook, John Cortez Jones, and you can look up his boot camp. It's J.C. Jones Boot Camp. I highly recommend him. It is a boot camp. It's a lot of work, but he has a slogan: "Eat right plus live right equals get right." So he doesn't only focus on the working out portion, but he also focuses on your eating habits, which I think is probably the most important thing. So we were going to John for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember exactly. But I do remember as we were going, I started losing weight. I could tell in a short amount of time. I was like, wow, that one little muscle popped up on my stomach. It wasn't a six pack. It was just a single, but it was one little thing there. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty good. But then life got in the way, and to be honest, things got a little hard, a little rough, working out, pains in areas I didn't even know that I, could get pains in. But we stopped going. It was my fault. We stopped going. So I was thinking back on that situation. I was like, wow, you know what? If I had kept going back then, I would have that six-pack now. I would be at the weight that I want to be at, and I would be healthier and feel better. But I stopped. I gave up right when I began to see the promise coming to pass. So I want to encourage anybody out there, don't give up. This is the time for you to hold on. The late Apostle V.B. Washington had a slogan that he used to use on his radio broadcast. It was called From Stress to Rest. And he would always say, now is not the time to fall out, but now is the time to hold out. So we want to make sure that whatever we're going through, don't give up. Don't stop. You never know. Your blessing literally may be just around the corner. Like I said, if I had kept going, I would have been much healthier, much better. We got a baby on the way, and I need to get this off of me. So we actually started some things earlier this month, and I do feel a lot better, a little bit of difference. But I would have been much better had I kept going. So I just want to encourage you, no matter what you're going through, keep going, keep pressing. Don't give up in the middle of the battle. Amen. God bless you. All right, listen. This brother right here, again, this has been knowing this brother for over 30 years. He is a good friend. He's a brother. He's a father. He's an entrepreneur. He is, he's an amazing brother. So I just want to introduce him now to the show. He is the pastor of the Shiloh Deliverance Church International. And his parents, apostles Bobby and Carolyn Bracy, are the apostles of the church. And I believe he's the senior pastor. I've been saying that. I should have probably confirmed that with him first. But I believe he's the senior pastor. But he'll definitely correct me. But I want to welcome him to the show today. He was also the music director and one of the songwriters for my play, Lavell Issues of Blood. Please help me welcome my brother, my friend, Pastor Chioke Bracy. Chioke, welcome to the show, my brother.
You ain't got no applause sound effects, man?
I know. All right, I got a little more coming up to do.
God bless you, everybody. How are you?
Good, man. I'm so glad to have you in the studio today, man. I definitely wanted to make sure that the first few episodes of this show that I did deal with people who worked on my play and helped me out, and you have helped out not only with the play, but with my church, my personal endeavors, everything. So I just want people to know that I truly, truly appreciate you, brother, and I thank God for you.
Amen. Well, man, I'm glad to be able to be such a blessing in your life. Just, my dad saved your life, and then God put me in your life to bless it even further. So I'm glad God blessing you through the Bracy family and the Bracy lineage.
Yeah, that is hilarious. So I'll go ahead and tell the story real quick. So we were Trinity. We used to go to Philadelphia every year, and we were on the bus going to Philadelphia. I won't drag the story out. We were on the bus going to Philadelphia, and I was a teenager. I was always very, very busy. I was always in this doing something I wasn't supposed to be doing or whatever. And this particular time, I just had to get up right at this moment to throw something away. And the little garbage bag was at the front of the bus. It was one of those big, big, whatever, 50 passenger buses. And as I was going up to throw the trash away, there was something in the road. Yes, sir.
Oh, you telling the story? My phone went out for a second, so I ain't know what.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Yeah. So, and there was something in the road, and the bus had to make a sharp turn, and I literally fell toward the door. Like literally, I would have, if God hadn't intervened through your dad, I would have fell out of the door, and the bus had to be going 40 or 50, 60 miles per hour. I would have died. But thank God that the Lord had your dad, Apostle Bobby Bracy, sitting right at the right spot at the right time. And as the bus turned and I began to fall, he literally reached out and grabbed me. So yes, he saved my life literally. Yes, sir. Oh, Pastor Ron's sister, Nikki, said, God bless you, sir.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Amen.
I'm working on.
All right, so I got a couple of questions for you.
Let's go.
One of those questions, I guess we'll start off, and I love the name, the Right Reverend Chioke. Is your middle initial I?
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, okay, all right. I didn't know that. Right. I won't ask you what it stands for. I'll text you.
It's Issa.
Okay. Chioke Issa Bracy. All right, cool.
Third man, child born. It's actually pronounced Asa, but it's spelled with the I. It's Ebo. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. So my first question for you is, what was your experience like working on Issues of Blood? Now, you're a professional musician. You have your own band that you're a part of. We could talk about that a little bit later. So I know, playing is not something new to you. It's not something that, I know that it's something that you're used to. Mm-hmm. But what was your experience working on Issues of Blood?
I actually enjoyed working on Issues of Blood. It's always a tricky thing as a musician when you're hired on to give life, only a portion of life to a song. In this case, the words to the majority of the songs were already written, and we kind of had to bring music to it. And so sometimes people with their art are a little touchy. So you have to approach it with a certain degree of caution, because you might hear the song a certain way, and then they hear it a whole other way, and the two ways don't meet in the middle. But I was looking forward to it, especially with it being your production. I knew I could come in with a certain degree of freedom. I knew that I could come in with a certain degree of assurity that you wouldn't be a jerk, because honestly, that's a big part of it. I have worked on some other productions and MD'd some other productions, and me and my whole squad, I run with the same squad. Shout out to Frank Simmons III. Shout out to Steve playing on bass. Shout out to Jarrell and Angelina, who did background vocals. Who else did background vocals? We had 3 people doing background vocals. I can't remember who the third person.
I think it was Jarrell's little sister.
Yeah, Noni. Shout out to Noni for helping out. So my crew that I work with, and at that point, I had been working with Jarrell, Steve, and Frank for years. And then, Angelina is a member of the church, so I've known her since we were about 10. So working with them was very easy to do. But sometimes it's different when you have other people's input coming in, especially people who aren't necessarily musically inclined. So sometimes there's a barrier in communication. And as an MD, I have to manage those outside influences, which would be the producer or the actor or the singer or whatever, as well as the person that wrote the song, as well as manage my band. And when you get into 1:30 in the morning singing the same song for the 15th time, like tempers can flare, all those type of things. But that was very much at a minimum in Issues of Blood. And I actually enjoyed it. And then Jay Will, he wrote a large portion of the song. So working with Jay Will was really, 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 really easy, because he has like a musical mind. So he was able to kind of give us some ways to go with it. And then the squad, the rest was up to the squad. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's funny. I never understood the concept of hiring somebody to do something and not trusting them to do it. Like, literally makes no sense to me. Like, one thing I've learned as a director is that I don't have to know how to do everything. I just have to surround myself with people who do know how to do it. So I'm not a music director. I'm not musically, I can't play anything like that. I sing a little bit here and there, but I'm not a musical person. So for me to try to micromanage you literally wouldn't have made sense. That's why I hired you. I brought you on because I trusted you and I knew that you knew what you were doing.
And the difference is humility.
Mm.
That's the difference. Humility will allow you to say, I have no idea what I'm doing in this area, so let me do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So humility will allow you to do that. And unfortunately, everybody doesn't have that. Like we did a production, and it was just horrible. Like I'm getting getting suggestions to the people, like, hey, this is what we need to do, this is what we can do, this is what needs to happen here, here, and here. And they just didn't want to listen to us. The talent didn't want to listen to us. Like the whole nine. Like, okay, all right, you having me come to the venue to scope out the venue. I'm saying this is where the band needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't want the band here. I want them here. That's fine. We'll be here. But in order for it to work, I need all the actors to stay behind this particular line and not move and yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
And it was people like, and I am sweetly saved, as they say. Everybody that I roll with is not as saved as me.
Mm.
So sometimes I have to be a buffer, because like people can talk crazy to me all day, and just my personality is like, if I don't care about you, I'm not gonna pay no attention to you. But there are other people in my crew who are like, no, you're not about to talk to me like that. And so I have to kind of run a buffer between them, because we was in the production and we told the people to stay at a certain point, especially, you know how gospel plays go. Like, don't nobody want to sing the song the same way ever.
Right.
So we like, okay, if you are going to wing it, then we need to be able to see you, and you need to be giving me some choir director cues. I need to know if we're going back to the top, if we go in here. And this person went to the very tip of the stage and was singing their little heart out, and we could not see what they was doing.
Oh, wow.
So I made the call, look, we're going to play the song straight through. So they trying to run a vamp 50 million times, and we can't see it. So the song finally ended, and they came backstage and called themselves yelling at the band. I was like, yo, that's not what's about to happen. Because boys will pack up in the middle of this production and walk off. But if you would have did what we asked you to do, you know what I'm saying? And I'm all about working with people to help build their vision. These ain't my songs. I'm not getting any royalties off of them. So if you wrote the song, I want the song to come to life better than you thought it would have. And in order to do that, just share with me your vision, and we can work from there. And then once everybody works together, we can make whatever happen. And I think that's what was great about working with you, is just like, all right, Bill, let's switch this part. Let's do it like this, or let's do it like that. And let's move this, move that. And you were all for it. So it worked. It worked out well.
Yeah, it did. And it was amazing, man. Like, even when I sit back, not because of me, but because I give glory to God, man. Like, God literally set me up with people around me that just literally made this an amazing. It was an amazing production. So I thank God for that, man.
And he deserves it. But take a little glory for yourself. You wrote it and produced it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Amen. I received that. I thank you for that, man. Thank you. So now I kind of been teasing at people about something that happened on our opening night. So we had a scare opening night, but the scare ended up turning into probably the biggest blessing of your life. So can you just kind of tell everybody what happened on our first night? We did Issues of Blood for the very first time. The first weekend of October of 2015. We came back and did it again in February of 2016. But our opening night, our very, very first show, it was a Friday night. I believe it was October 1st or 2nd or something like that. Whatever that Friday night was in 2015, you can go on your calendars and go back. But what happened that opening night right before the show opened?
It was the second. First of all, every time I do a favor for you, something happens traumatic in my life. Like, it's not traumatic, dramatic. Because something happened the second time we did the play in 2016.
All right.
But we had been rehearsing. My wife at the time was pregnant, and we had been rehearsing all the things, and everything was going smooth. And then on that Thursday, I believe it was, because we opened up on a Friday, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So on that Thursday, I got off work and she wasn't feeling well. So we took her to the hospital. And
Mm-hmm.
so her doctor said he wanted to keep her overnight. Well, they wanted to keep her overnight, this and that. So I'm like, okay. And so in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, what's gonna happen? Whatever. So the next
Mm-hmm.
day, I spent the night at the hospital, if memory serves me correctly. And they ended up saying that they were going to induce labor because she needed to have the baby. And so I didn't really understand what inducing labor meant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay. But I'm like, okay, that means she could possibly have the baby at some point today.
Mm.
But at this point, I'm thinking like, okay, it ain't gonna be till later on in the day because every story I've heard about labor is I was in labor with you for 12 hours. So I'm like, okay, I got a half a day. Like I got 12 hours. I'm good.
Right.
Um, the doctors are there, or whatever. So I'm making plans in my head. So I had called my god brother, shout out to Kim James, and I was like, yo, it's a possibility that Cheyenne can have the baby today. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, it's the opening night of the play. Look, I need you to fill in for me just in case. Like, if I call you, I'm only gonna call you if I need you or whatever.
Right.
And so I left. I came to sound check to set up everything, make sure everything's good. I'm on the phone talking with my mom and my sister because they were at the hospital. And everybody's like, everything's cool. They just induced their labor. Everything is fine. So the play was set to start at like 7 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I get a call at 5:30 that says, come to the hospital. She getting ready to have the baby. So I'm like, oh my God. So I give Frank Kim's number. I'm shooting to the hospital. And so when I get to the hospital, they have already moved her into the delivery room because it was an emergency situation.
Mm.
So when I got there, they had already started surgery. So I could not go into the room. So I waited, whatever. My baby was born. And in the meantime, like I'm texting back to see like is Kim answering his phone. For whatever reason, Kim would not answer his phone. So I'm excited and concerned because like when I get there, like everybody's really quiet or whatever, and my mom is praying, and so I'm like, yo, like what's going on with my wife? What's going on with my baby? And then
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, in the back of my mind, it's like, dang, Lavell about to have to run the opening of his play with no drums, like no drums, no sound effects, because I was running sound effects and all of
Right.
that stuff. So I'm like, oh my God. So they end up wheeling my wife back into the room. They said I couldn't see my baby yet because they had to. She was in ICU for a couple of weeks.
Mm.
So because she came early.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there in the room and we're all talking or whatever, yada yada yada. And then Cheyenne looks at me or whatever, and she was like, "Go ahead."
Mm.
And I'm like, "You sure?" She was like, "Yeah, just go ahead." So then I'm walking in. I'm racing back to the venue. At this point, it's like 7, like 6:50 something, very close to 7. The only reason I knew it was that's close to 7 because Jay Will told me later on he seen me walking down the aisle and thought to himself, "Black people always late." So it wasn't until he found out that I was coming from the hospital. He was like, "Bro, like I did not know." He was like, "Man," I was like, "Black people, look at him. He late on the opening night." He was like, "But then Lavell said it was a baby, whatever." And then so I got there. I was super excited. Like my whole crew was excited.
Yeah.
Because everybody was family. And then so we just went on to have a really, 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 really great show.
That is awesome. And what is your beautiful daughter's name?
Her name is Lyric Elise Bracy.
Yes.
Yeah. And
So
then
go ahead.
in
Go ahead.
2016, I'm leaving work on my way to the venue, and I get a call because somebody sideswiped my new car with my wife and my daughter in it.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Wow.
too much
Yeah.
going on. But yeah,
Can't wait to see what happens with the next play.
Man.
So, okay, now so your daughter came early for a reason. Like that young lady is like she is a singer, a rapper. She is amazing. So there's this video that you posted on Instagram, man. And when I say I'm not even kidding you, at least twice a month, my wife goes to your page and she watches this video and is like cracking up. Like she absolutely loves it. So I gotta play this video. Give me a second. I gotta play this video, but it's your daughter. Like you're driving and you got your phone recording, and your daughter is in the back seat going in on this song. She was rapping and singing all at the same time, and it was really amazing. Where is it? All right, give me one sec. Actually, I'm just gonna share the whole screen. Share audio, and then I'll play it. All right. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Man, absolutely amazing, man. I'm telling you, man, my wife literally watches that clip at least twice a month, man. She absolutely loves it. Like your daughter was going in, man, and you like literally flowing right with her, man.
Man, like she and I have this thing for a while. She was into music.
Okay.
And so like she would play on the keyboard. Like I got a bunch of videos on my page. My page is literally all lyric of her playing the keyboard or singing songs or counting off. And because we spent a lot of time together. So like she was always, when she was first born, she was always with me at rehearsals and all of that. So like she'll start off songs like 5 or 4 or what I got off 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you know what I'm saying, or 5, 6, 7, 8. Like she'll count it off the whole 9. And so for a little while, she wasn't that interested in music.
Okay.
And she was more interested in dancing because her mom is a professional dancer.
Okay.
And like her mom has a dance studio and all that kind of stuff. So then all she wanted to do was be a ballerina. And like I was excited for it. I was a little sad because I'm like, yo, like use my music buddy. Like and so on that particular night, we were leaving from my parents' house. And from my parents' house to my house is about a 45 to 50-minute drive.
Okay.
So I just pulled up. She was asking me for a song. And at that point, her language wasn't fully developed. So she couldn't say the song. She would just, you know, sing the parts that she knew. But it was some stuff that she seen on YouTube and I had no idea what it was. So I'm like, I tell you what, baby, let's just make up our own song. So I found a random instrumental and I started playing it. And then she just started rapping. And like she was rapping about like serious stuff. Like when she say me Summer and Daddy Summer is her cousin. So she was rapping about going to airtime later on. And then so like it did like the amazing thing about that video to me is her approach to the song.
Okay.
Like she had it in a song structure, like she did it for the whole ride home. So she had structure, like she would flip her flow and change her flow around, and then she started rapping about current events because at that point it was some kid in her class who was messing with her.
Okay.
And it was a boy. And so he was pushing her. I told her, you know, what I told her.
Yep.
and like, she was rapping in a song. And she was like, and if such and such come to me again, I'm I was like, oh, snap. And so, like, it's great. to this day, we still do stuff like that. It's just like that's one of the things that really brings me joy about being with her, being able to see myself reflecting in her as far as like her musical gifts and her talent. So it's one of my favorite videos too.
Yeah, yeah. Nikki asked, how old was she?
Lyric was 3 in that video.
Wow, wow.
I think she was 3 in that video. Like
Okay.
I just 3.
Yeah, and she was better. Like me and my wife, we have these rap battles around the house every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like she constantly tells me that I suck, that I'm rapping is not my gift according to her. I think I'm one of the coldest, even though I'm the oldest. But okay, never mind. But yeah. So I think I could flow, but your daughter like literally was flowing.
She has bars to this day. Like she has bars. And one of the things of with the rap part that's funny because like she sings too. And so like it's really amazing to hear her sing because she can hear parts.
Oh wow.
And like she hears parts, but then she also hears not just parts as far as notes, but parts as far as if the tenors are saying something different from the altos, like she picks her part. So like if I sing one part, then she knows not to sing the part I'm singing, she'll automatically sing the other part. But that's how she originally had started rapping. I used to watch a lot of battle rap for whatever the reason was. So like I would go around the house and just be rapping, like and rap at her. Like if she asked me for something, like I just battle rap her, like asking for applesauce or whatever. And then so she picked it up and she ran away with it. So we got a mixtape coming out soon.
Nah, right. But my mother-in-law, she said LaKenya can rap. She and she thinks that she got it from her. So
with the exclamation point though.
right. But okay, let me ask you this, man. How did or did becoming a father change your life? And if so, how? And I'm asking that for a reason because we announced it a couple times on Facebook, but LaKenya and I are expecting our due date is September the 6th. So it is coming up really quickly, and we binding up this Rona demon so that I can be in the room with her when she had the baby. We actually find out next Friday what we're having. Yeah, we were supposed to find out last month, but I couldn't go with her, so so we find out next Friday. But yeah, so did becoming a father, did it change your life, and if so, how?
Absolutely flipped my life upside down.
Wow.
Absolutely. And I don't want to get too deep because it's only 7:06. But it changed my life in a natural sense and it changed my life in a spiritual sense. In a natural sense, I am very straight to the point, cut to the chase. It is what it is, black and white. That's what it is. And you and I have a relationship, so you know how I talk to you. Like I talk crazy to everybody. That's just my personality.
Right.
And it's not with you, it's not any malice behind it.
Right.
And, but some people, if they needed to catch it, then I could give it to them. But having her taught me how to be softer. And people around me could tell, like, especially like Adio and Charles, my brothers, like they would hear me say something. They'd be like, "What? Like, you getting soft?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Years, like, you getting soft. And it was all because of her. Like, she softened me. Like, not totally, but a great, great, great deal. She softened me. It gave me a heightened sense of what it meant to be a man, to be a father, to be a provider. It just my whole mindset changed. Like if there was any like game playing left in me, like when she was born, it's like, no, like I need to make these plans. I need to stuff I ain't never think about.
Yeah.
Health insurance. I ain't gonna get sick. No, I got to make sure paperwork right, because she might have to go to the hospital. She might have to go to the doctor. Yada yada yada. Life insurance. If I go kaput, I go kaput. No, I got to have something to make sure that she's taken care of when I leave. So it grew me up and it softened me spiritually. I was finally able to understand God's love.
Wow. Wow.
35 years of life. My parents have been saved all of those years. I understood love. I understood romantic love. But it wasn't until I had her that I had a full picture of how God loves us. It totally opened my mind. It totally opened my understanding. And I never looked at God the same after I had her.
Wow.
It'll totally change, because now you're in that position. You are in the position where you have something that you created that has life to it. You could write a play in a production, and it can have a life of its own, but after the last show, it's done. When you have a child, you have to be with them every single step of the way. You love them, and you love them to the point where when they do things that you don't think is right, or they have a fault, or they have a falling out, or they have a shortcoming, yes, you're not pleased, and yes, you're upset about it, but your lens is totally different in how you deal with it. You don't jump to conclusions. You don't jump to snap. You don't jump to whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow. It's totally different when you have a child, and it really helps you understand God's love. Like, we'll run around, do something, and be down and on ourselves for weeks, months, years. You know, and Lyric will do that. Lyric will do something that she thinks doesn't make me happy. Her whole countenance changes. She wants to cry. She wants to be upset. And I'm standing there like, baby, that was not a big of a deal to me as it was to you.
Right. Wow.
I still, like, I'm not going to leave you. I'm not going to forsake you. Now, we might have to correct some things, or we might have to sit down and figure out how we're going to fix whatever is broken, but it's not going to stop my love for you. And once you have a child, it is going to flip your mind, and it's going to be like, yo, like, you're going to feel like you ain't been saved. or like wow. You ain't been, like, it really took me to that point. Like, man, this is all this time I've been talking about God's love. I've been singing about God's love. I've been telling people about God's love. I've been preaching about God's love. And now I understand in a whole new way what I've been talking about. And it made me want to go back to everybody I ever sung to, talked to, or preached to, and be like, yo, it was decent what I told you, but it's a whole nother side of it now.
Wow.
So it's crazy. And especially if you have a girl, that's way different. That's a whole nother story. If you have a girl, that's
wow, man, that was a drop the mic moment there, brother. That was a mess.
I'm telling you.
Wow. So that, I guess that actually kind of helps to segue into this next question. So having your daughter helped to change your heart. So did that help in the process of you becoming a pastor? I mean, you were already a minister, already a preacher, already a man of God, but now you've shifted. And I want to correct this now. Are you the senior pastor?
I'm the only pastor. Not like a player. But no, I mean, the title really doesn't matter to me. I am the pastor of the Shiloh Deliverance Church.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I guess in organizational senses, because everybody got a different name of it, I would be what's considered as the senior pastor. And then we have 4 associate pastors in the ministry that handle different areas or whatever. And then we have my mother and father, who are the apostolic oversight.
Amen. Amen. So
my dad is my apostle, but I'm my dad's pastor.
Wow. That's all right. Hey. So like, was it okay? Just tell us how did that happen? How did it happen? Like, was this something the Lord had been dealing with you about? Was this something that your dad and mom came to you and talked to you about? Like, how did it transpire? Just go ahead and tell us how it worked out.
Me being the pastor of the Shiloh Deliverance Church was a collaboration between Bobby Bracy and God.
Okay.
It was not on my radar at all.
Okay.
Actually, and I tell people this, in my mind, the next pastor of the church was going to be Kathy,
Okay.
Dr. Kathy James.
Yeah.
In my mind, if anybody ever talked about my father not being pastor, I automatically saw Kathy as the next pastor.
Okay.
I was perfectly fine with my role as the minister of music. I was also one of the youth ministers, youth pastors. So I was perfectly fine with that. I was perfectly fine with supporting my mother and father's vision and pushing them, out there and to do things. If needed to be, I could step in and preach on occasion if he was out of town or whatever. Perfectly fine with all of that, but I had no desire to be a pastor.
Okay.
And I had no desire to be a pastor because I recognized everything that being a pastor entailed. See, the difference with me was that I spent the majority of my life watching my father be a pastor,
Right.
watching my mother be a pastor. So there are some people who want to be pastors, and I'm not always sure if they want to be pastors for the right reasons.
All right.
So people look at a pastor and they think, this is people's brains sometimes. If I'm the pastor, then I'll have clout, I'll have prestige, I can wear the shiny robes, I'll get speakers offerings, I'll have anniversary celebrations where people give me money and gifts and all of those things. And they don't see the work that it takes to be a pastor. They don't see the dedication that it takes to be a pastor. They don't see the patience that it takes to be a pastor. They don't see the long hours of studying. And like, that's the stuff that I saw on a regular basis. Like, my father is a bona fide teacher. He doesn't consider himself a preacher. My father considers himself a teacher, and I believe rightfully so. Although he can preach in the westernized American idea of preaching, where you get people excited. Like, he's a good orator.
Right.
A good speaker. He can do that. But my father is a teacher at heart. So I would sit and watch him while we in the house running around going crazy. Him at the table studying. Me waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the bathroom and hear him downstairs praying and call each individual person by name. Like, I recognize that that's what that was. And at that point in my life, I'm like, no, I don't want to get up for 5 o'clock and pray for each individual person by name. Running the church, a lot of people, like, church hurt is a big topic and all of that, but I don't think people really realize how much pastors deal with. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's been times where I've heard people, say stuff slick, about my parents or whatever. And my daddy is the coolest guy. Like, I'm half my daddy, half my mama. So my daddy is real back. He want to address things. My mama cut straight to the point. So I can do both.
Right.
And so one of the ways to trick me into getting in the cut into you phase is to say something about somebody that I know has character. So I've seen people like say some stuff way out of left field. And I'm like, yo, like, and I've talked to my dad about it. Like, yo, I will absolutely cut into them. He's like, no, don't do it. Don't worry about it. Gotta handle it. Yada, yada, yada. And in those moments, I'd be like, I couldn't even be you, bro. I because to me, a part of his restraint was him being a pastor more so than it was to his character as just being calm. So in my head, it's like, okay, the pastor can't go off on people even if they deserve it. So like all of that, like seeing people, use your parents, is everything is good as long as they doing what you want to do. In the moment that they tell you something that you don't want to hear, then all of a sudden now you gotta throw a big fit and act like all of that kind of stuff. I didn't want any parts of it.
Yeah.
The other reason why I did not want to be pastor is because the church started when I was very young. I was about 9 or 10 years old. And I didn't want to step into a pastoral position because in my mind, I would be dealing with people who saw me as a kid for so long that they would still see me as a kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not really, I just wasn't, to be honest with you, I totally was not feeling it.
Yeah.
And the way that it came about, Lyric used to go over my mom and dad's house on the weekends.
Okay.
So I was going to pick her up, and my dad was sitting outside on the porch with a Bible chilling. And so I went in the house, told Lyric to get her stuff together, yada, yada, yada. And I came back out on the porch to sit with my dad just to kick it. And he was like, yeah, so what do you think about Pastor Bracy? Like being Pastor Bracy. And I don't know what it's like to be you. Like, I know I got a little glimpse. He was like, no, you're missing what I'm saying. Like, what do you think about becoming the pastor of the church? And I was like, like I didn't have anything to say. And he was like, take some time to think about it. Take some time to pray about it. And then we'll go from there. And so what happened was in that time, I determined that I would give it serious thought, that I would put my feelings about the situation to the side. Because at that point, I had only thought about it from my feelings, emotional standpoint, and not from a spiritual standpoint. Yeah. So it's very much my will. Look, I'm gonna talk to you about it and see what you say, because that was the first time my father had said anything like that.
Wow.
Now keep in mind, I'm the pastor's son. I play the keyboard. I sing, so I travel with him wherever he go, and yada yada yada. So it's always somebody telling me, "You gonna be the pastor. You gonna take over for your daddy." You know what I'm saying? The prophecies that people just throwing out, because the easiest prophecy to give to a PK is that they gonna be the next pastor. Like, all of that. So I took some time to pray about it, and and God did not tell me no. Now, he didn't say yes, but he didn't tell me no. Okay. And that's probably because my prayer was, if you don't want me to do it, tell me no. So what ended up happening is that little by little, I began to take on more of a leadership role, and God would use me in spite of myself. And when he would use me, it would be like, yo, like, this ain't what I signed up for, boss. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I can, like, praise and worship, I can do it all day. Sit me behind some drums, I can play for hours on hours on hours on hours. Sit me behind a keyboard, I can play hours on hours on hours. If you want me to sing, I can sing hours on hours on hours. If you want me to sweep, I can do any of that stuff.
Right.
But what God ended up doing is starting to take what was my normal in ministry and elevate me to a point where I was above the former position that I was at.
Wow.
So where it was that I was just used to sing, and God would use that, and like it would shift the service into a whole nother direction, or shift the service into a whole nother atmosphere. To me, it was cool, because it's like, God, you are using me more in the gift that I'm comfortable with.
All right.
But then God being, and churchy people don't be too churchy, but God was slick. So what he was doing is, as I would begin to use that gift more and more and more, now as I'm singing, there are words coming out of my mouth that are not in the song. So I'm flowing prophetically. And that started to throw me off, because I wasn't realizing that I was doing it until I would look around and see everybody with the standard church, oh, somebody prophesying face. Like, oh, okay, you're doing it. I can't control what I'm saying, you're doing it. And then it got to the point where it would start triggering when I was not singing. So I'm moving from a music ministry into a prophetic ministry. And then now people are asking me to speak at different places, and it's picking up and picking up and picking up and building up and building up and building up. And the day that I knew it was real was And at this point, it's so crazy because at a certain point, because God did not tell me no, I
Mm-hmm.
just accepted it. And I
Okay.
told my dad, yes, I'll. And we sat down and we talked about the parameters and all that kind of stuff and how we would transition into it and all of that. But the day that I knew it was real, it was during our anniversary service.
Okay.
And I was supposed to MC the service. And in that particular service, Apostle Donald Coleman was there, who's one of my other spiritual fathers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also one of the ones that took me, like God prophesied through him to me that God was going to expose me and open me up to the nations and that I would be traveling. And then he made it, that prophecy, come true by scheduling me to travel with him when he went out of state to preach and things like that.
Okay.
So Apostle Coleman was at that particular service. It was a Sunday service, and all of these people are there for the anniversary. And then and at this point, I'm still playing keyboard.
Okay.
So while I'm playing keyboard, I'm sitting on the keyboard, and my father is sitting across the sanctuary from me. And I look at him, and God opens up this whole storyline.
Mm.
And I'm sitting there, and what God told me was, I'll just share it. I hope you got time. But what God told me is that my father, the reason why my father set aside the pastorate of Shiloh is to move into his calling to be an apostle.
Mm.
Apostle as far as overseeing churches, setting up new churches, all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, and like God was literally opening up the world to him. So like he had been to India. We have a church in India. He had went to, I don't know if he had went at this point, but he ended up going to England to do a conference. And so all these things. So he was going to focus more on the apostolic oversight and really building up the churches that he had up under him. So he needed somebody to handle the church that he started.
Mm-hmm.
And so what God told me was that just as I would receive a portion of my father's anointing, my father would receive a portion of my youth to be able to do what it is that he needed to do.
Wow. And
so I heard it in my head, but at that point, it wasn't time for me. I wasn't singing or anything, or I didn't have a mic, so it wasn't time for me to say anything. Mm. So I was like, okay, when I get up to MC, I'll mention it to him or whatever. And so while I was waiting, they were having words of encouragement, and Elder Horn's mom had came from Georgia.
Okay.
The Horn's mom is up there in age, but she's just as young as she could be.
Okay.
I mean, as far as anything. So like she has a bunch of energy and she was up there going. Like when I say going, like she was preaching her mini sermon. She was shouting. The thing I love about her though is that it's all in a good framework. So she preached what she had to preach in a minute and a half, and she shouted and danced her way the rest of the thing. And that was a sign to me about what God had said.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I got up the nerve to say it to my daddy. Because in my eyes, my father is somebody that I look up to.
Yeah.
So for me, and even though we have an open relationship where I can talk to him about stuff, me prophesying to my daddy is like, yo, like, bro, you sure you want to do this? Like, I don't know if anybody ever has had that feeling, but it's like certain people that I'm like, yo, yeah, this person's supposed to be prophesying to me. I'm not going to prophesy to them or whatever. So I got up the nerve and I said it, and I felt God when I said it. Mm. And then Apostle Coleman came behind me. He actually stood with me while I prayed for my father.
Okay.
And I prayed for my father. And I ended up praying for like 50 people that day.
Wow.
I wasn't the speaker. We had a guest speaker that came from Toronto.
Okay.
And you know me, I'm all about, hey, let's get in here, do what we got to do, and get out. And I could not let it go. And so God gave me a sign from what he originally told me through Elder Horn's mom. Mm-hmm. And then Apostle Coleman said, I saw the same thing you saw. You are exactly on point. Here's the other portion of it. Mm. So God showed me literally in front of my face an example of what he told me to say. And then he had somebody that I know for sure hears from him to verify that what I said was right on point.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I ended up praying for like 50 people. And then after that, every Sunday. And see, and this is how I know it's God, because those are the things that I did not want to do. I did not want to do long altar calls. I didn't want to pray for people. I go home and pray for you, but as far as me laying hands on you and telling you what God you in your face right there in that moment, like that was not me at all. And so when I looked up and snapped out of it, and I seen people laying in the floor and people all over, like I'm like, whoa, 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 like what's going on here? And that's when I knew. I was like, this is what I'm on. And I have not looked back since. Like I've kind of looked to the side a couple of times, but I haven't looked. I haven't looked back since. So to answer your question, or the first part of the original question, yes, having Lyric allowed me to be a pastor because it gave me a tremendous amount of patience. It got me to the point where I would have the patience that I need to pastor people, because I'm not perfect and people are not perfect. And so it gave me that. And I'm thankful I have not come to the point where I've had to use that patience yet.
Okay, good.
Like I haven't tapped into it. Like the transition that my father set up was so smooth. And shout out to my Shiloh family, because I legit feel like I feel the love. I feel that they trust me as their leader. I feel all of that. So like it's been a smooth transition so far.
Amen. Man, that's amazing, man. And it's very, very encouraging, man. I don't in any way, form, or fashion feel like God has called me to pastor. But one thing that will scare me the most, it wouldn't be the finances, it wouldn't be dealing with people, it would be literally trying to come up with 52 messages to preach in a year. When I study to preach, the couple of times I do preach now, it takes a long time. Like it's an effort, like it's work, like literally sitting down and doing that. It's like, and have to do that every single week.
It's so funny. My basement had flooded, and so I had to move out of the house for a while while they did the repairs, and it was mold and all that kind of stuff. So Lyric couldn't be here. So I ended up staying with my dad and my mom for like a month. Almost 2 months or whatever. And so like I would be downstairs studying at the kitchen table, and then my dad would be studying. One day my dad didn't have to study. He just walked by me and bust out laughing. He was like, yeah, I don't miss that. Now keep in mind, my daddy is not the pastor of the church anymore, but he is still running 2 prayer lines, one at 6 in the morning and one at 11 o'clock at night. Like he's still like he's studying for all of those things or whatever. And it was just funny. He was like, now you see like what I was like how I was feeling. I was like, yeah. But the thing is this, bro, and I thank God, because when you give God your yes, everything else is handled. One of the catchphrases that God gave me with one of the message series that we were doing, and we were talking about running your race and not jumping the gun. You can only get your go from God.
Okay.
So when you're in the race, God tells you when to go. And so once you go and you're a runner, you reach a point where you get into a stride, and those things aren't as difficult as you think they were. So yes, thinking of something new to talk about every single Sunday was like something I was like, yo, I'm gonna need some help with this.
You're right.
But what ended up happening was, because I yes, and because I fixed my mind to do that, what would happen is I would be walking around at the mall minding my business, and God would say something to me, a word or a sentence, and I would know it's God. And this is crazy. This is how I know it's God. When I hear myself in my head preaching something, because in my mind I was gonna be a teacher. Like I can talk. And I can sing, but I never imagined myself being, God said, like I never imagined that. But when God told me about what I'm supposed to say, like that's how I hear myself. So I'm like, okay. And so what I would do, I would take out my phone, I would put it in my notes.
Okay.
And then as I would go through the week or go through the rest of the day, he would connect pieces. So he would say something else. And then say something else. And then when I would go to look up the first thing or the scripture that would match it, or like in my natural head, like, okay, God, you're saying this. You're saying don't doubt. Who in the Bible do I know that had an issue with doubt?
Mm.
And then I would go to that, and then it would just open up into, no, look at this person and look at it this way. Look at it this way. And then what I was able to do was connect all of those pieces. Mm-hmm. And then by the time I got to Saturday night, like I would have a total complete message.
Wow.
And the times that I did not have a complete message, God filled in the gaps. And those times are absolutely crazy, because what I do is I type my notes in my computer on my laptop, so I'll know what to say, so I don't get lost in my own thoughts. And one day, like, God gave me, like, God kind of deals with me as far as 3 points, because it's easy for people to grab those 3 points. And so I had the first 2 points. God gave me all 3 headlining points, but he only filled in the first 2 points. So on my PowerPoint, I had a slide that had the third point and nothing under it.
Okay.
And I was like, God, you're gonna have to work this out, because I don't have it. And as I flowed through the message and I got to that point, God took off and did everything else. So for those of you who are dealing with anything or looking into anything that God is calling you to, if you will agree with him, then he'll handle it. One of my fraternity brothers has this slogan where he says, if it's God's will, then it's God's bill.
Okay.
So if I invite you out to eat, if I say, Lavell, I'm coming to pick you up to go out to eat, then that insinuates that I'm ready to handle everything that comes on that bill from you ordering what you need to eat. And so God is calling me to this. Then God, some of this stuff, I'm willing to leave the tip. I'm willing to order responsibly. But if you asking me out to eat, then I'm gonna need you to cover this bill. And that's exactly what he has been doing.
Wow. And you're an excellent preacher and teacher. And I have a confession. So I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago, Apostle Diane asked me to speak, and we have service on Zoom, and I woke up that Sunday morning, and I had my message and everything. I just wasn't. I know this don't sound spiritual at all, but I just wasn't feeling it. Like I just was like, And I remember I was in the bathroom getting ready and everything. Our service starts at 11. Yours starts at 10, correct?
Yeah.
So I went on Facebook and I saw Shiloh and I clicked on it and you were preaching. And I don't remember what you were preaching about, but whatever you were saying, literally for like the next 20 minutes, I listened, and it encouraged me so much that it built something up in me. And man, when I got on that Zoom call, I couldn't wait to get like the horses at the race. Couldn't wait for them doors to open. But it was thanks to you, because God was using you so mightily that it encouraged me and prepped me up to be able to go forth and do what God told me to do.
That's dope. I'm glad. And I mean, it's a task sometimes, man. Like every Sunday. And I mean, we got Bible study on Wednesday, so that's Sunday and Wednesday.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Like getting that lined up. And it's amazing to me, because when you are in the moment and God is using you, sometimes you are not fully aware of everything that you are doing. Like you're just not. Like when God really takes over, you're not fully aware of everything you're saying, everything you're doing. And what I had started doing is I would get text messages right afterwards.
Okay.
Of people saying, man, you blessed. And I'm like, okay. And then my media team started reporting back, like, Chioke, like it's an hour after the message and we got 1,000 views. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
Like, and so what I had to do is I had to go back to see, because to me it was like, I'm nobody special. I'm Pastor Bracy's son, and like that has some weight to it. But other than that, it's just, it is what it is. Like I ain't never been real haughty or arrogant like that. Saying
right.
That's touching people like this.
Yeah.
And when I go back, Lavell, on Sunday after church, I sit in my car and I watch the message.
Okay.
And when I tell you, it hits me like I have never heard it before. Now, keep in mind, God tells me the idea of what to talk about.
Wow.
I do research on that.
Mm-hmm.
I plan out the message. I go over the message, make sure it ain't got no typos, all of that. I look at my notes again on Sunday morning. I preach it. And then after that, I watch it, and it blesses me like I have never heard it before.
Wow. Wow.
And if I can bless myself, like, and I'm talking like it feels like I'm sitting there watching somebody else preach it.
Mm-hmm.
And it hits me like that good I've been a thug in the streets for 20 years, and now I'm at church, and God like gut punching, like, you need to get saved. And I'm just like, oh, thank you, Lord.
You're
Thank
right.
you. Like, I legit being like, yo.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, and I told God that, like, I tell God, like, yo, on the days where I don't feel like it, I'm like, look, you don't have to do something where I can feel it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because to me, as a musician, I need that energy.
Okay.
Like, in order for me to perform my duty, and not to say like it's a performance, but in order for me to perform or deliver, then I need that energy. And it's been times where I wake up, get out, do my routine or whatever, and on the ride to church, God has just hit me.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, I feel you. I feel you. Sometimes it don't start till I get ready to preach the message, and I'm chilling like, God, I need you to show up, because audio giving me that 4-finger countdown, and we getting ready to get started. As soon as audio hit 1, overdrive. Like, it's there, and like I have a really dope team. Like, I got a super dope team. So Charles starts off every service with prayer.
Okay.
Like, we used to make fun of him when we were younger, because it was like, oh, you got the gift, the intercession. That's the women's gift. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we used to make fun of him all the time. But now I need it. Like, I have him pray.
Yeah.
My brother David Tompkin, like, he plays keys for me. And he knows how to hit that vein musically every time I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Audio's there to make sure that everything runs smoothly. So I don't have to worry about clicking this button and pressing this button and running doing this. He's making sure all that stuff is taken care of. And then Joy runs the offsite production from her house. So all of that stuff is taken care of. So when I step up, all I have to do is preach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My sisters, Angelina and Shantae, they come to the church and they help me with praise and worship. So like, I don't have to wear myself out trying to sing the lead and the background vocals at the same time. And like, sometimes they sing the lead. So like, it's like, right. So like, all of that stuff, like, it really, 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 really helps me, where all I have to do is focus on delivering the word that God has given me. And so far, God has been blessed. I believe that he's going to keep on blessing.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody, make sure, if y'all watching this right now, look up Shiloh Deliverance Church International to make sure that you follow them, so you can hear Chioke's messages every Sunday. But we're not done. I do want to. There's one more thing I want to shift into before we end. Is so in addition to you being a music director, a father, a pastor, a mighty man of God, you also recently started your own podcast. So I don't want to go without talking about your podcast. The title is On God, and you all can listen to it on anchor.fm. I'm going to put the information up in just a second, but anchor.fm, and the title is On God, and it's you, and I don't know who the other brother is, but I've heard all of the episodes, and I've loved them because you all are very, very, very honest. I don't know how else to say it. Like, you're bringing up topics that sometimes the church is scared to deal with, and it's really, really good. So go ahead and tell us about On God.
Well, that started off, I really, when I was getting accustomed to the idea of becoming a pastor, I figured I would ease my way into it by just sharing my faith with people that I knew already. And so what is some people that I knew through college and fraternity or whatever, they had opened up their own podcast network. And so at that time, I was running my jewelry company, Wristworks, and I was trying to help them out their show. So they were looking for sponsors. And I'm like, yo, I'll sponsor your podcast. And so I ended up being on a couple of episodes or whatnot. And then one day, like, God just told me, like, it's time for you to start sharing your faith on social media. And I really stay away from social media as far as talking about serious topics. So you can come to my page and see pictures of Lyric. You can see me making jokes and talking about people because that's just what I do for fun. But I never took social media seriously, or I didn't think social media was the platform for me to express serious thoughts. And so God kind of checked me on that, like, yo, like, start sharing your thoughts. So I would do like this when Kanye first came out with his Sunday service thing or whatever. Okay. And so I would do what I call Thursday services, where I would get on Instagram and just do a quick 5-minute quick message or words of encouragement or whatever, and doing all that. And then God said, well, you got the plug for podcasts, so just talk to him. So I went to my homeboy Miles, who is one of the owners of the podcast and my co-host, and I was like, yo, bro, I want to do, because every time I was on the podcast, religion would come up because everybody knew that I was saved. So I was like, yo, bro, I want to do a podcast. And he was like, well, what's it going to be about? And I'm like, yo, I just want to, a place where I can share my faith and talk about God in a way that people will understand and talk about the topics that Christians generally don't want to talk about, or that Christians are generally dogmatic about, and all of that kind of stuff. So he was like, bet, let's do it. And so I had seen a meme on Instagram, and somebody was like, I don't care what happens, I'm not going to give up on God. And then the person was like, I don't know if he's saying on God or on God. So, like, for those of you who don't know, like, on God is like a urban euphemism that means, like, I swear on God, like, this ain't going to happen. And so they didn't know if he was saying he not going to give up and he's swearing on God that he not going to give up, or that he would not give up on God. Like, don't give up on God because he won't give up on you. Right. So God was like, that's it. That's the name. So I was like, okay. And so I went in and I just started recording. And so, like, I think the thing that I enjoy the most about the podcast is that Miles is my co-host, and Miles is on his own journey to, discovering his own personal relationship with God and all that. So he's not, like, he wasn't raised in the church and all that kind of stuff. So I always have that opinion there and that outlook there, even though I know it and understand it. Like, I have that there so we can talk about stuff and he can shoot me questions like, bro, like, this don't make sense. So what about this and what about that? Mm-hmm. And I just think that's the approach that God has given me for the ministry that I'm going to have to the millennials and the Gen X and the Gen Z, is like somebody that can talk straight to them and explain the stuff that's in the Bible, and just let them know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because everything that we can think about now that's happening in the world, we've dealt with these things in the Bible. Yeah,
so and what was really interesting is that I think sometimes the church is scared to answer tough questions. It's like, if you truly believe God is who he says he is, if you truly believe that the Bible is actually the word of God, then God doesn't, you don't have to be intimidated by anything. It doesn't matter what the question is. I've heard some very tough questions, but we don't have to be scared of those questions.
Yeah, we don't have to be scared. And I think the fear comes from Christianity has taken on a personality where some people are so dogmatic about it, and you present yourself as such an authority on everything that when a question comes up that you don't have an answer to, you don't want to risk your persona as an authority figure.
Right.
So people are scared to say, hey, look, I don't even know. Let me look it up. And I learned that from my dad. You can ask my daddy anything, and he will make you wait 2 or 3 days to get an answer, because he wants to make sure that when he talks, he know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things. And I think the thing with me is that I've always been kind of outspoken, and people know me like, so people at church know me as Pastor Bracy's son, pretty much. Anybody in the church knows me as Pastor Bracy's son. People in the secular world or in my circle know me as Chioke from U of M. They know me as Chioke the Alpha, or Chioke the Alpha that hosts all the step shows, or Chioke the Alpha that's funny, or Chioke the guy that's funny, whatever. So they know me as outspoken, and I'll say whatever is on my mind. So I'm able to take that same approach with Christianity and say, hey, look here. Like, if you coming out the gate, like, yada, listen, what you're saying is stupid, my friend, and here's why. That's it. So everybody that hit me with the Christianity, the white man religion, you got it from slaves. No, sir. Do you realize that the Ethiopian eunuch was one of the first people to be witnessed to? Yep. So the gospel went to an Ethiopian before it went to the Romans. Did you realize that?
Absolutely.
Like, wow. Corinth and all those places that are in European spots, it went to the Ethiopians before them?
Before them. That's
like,
right.
So that kind of stuff. And I just think, and when I was in college, I went through a phase where I was really, not that I was questioning God, but I wanted answers to questions. Because I took an anthropology class, and the anthropology teacher was getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Like he was talking cash stuff, like about Christianity and religion and all of this kind of stuff. And I was the one that sitting in class like, okay, excuse me, sir. Let me get this straight. I'm crazy because I believe that God created heavens and the earth and people, and I was not there. But you believe that a star blew up, sprinkled dust on the earth, that got amoebas formed in the sea that crawled up to land as a salamander, which eventually evolved into primates and evolved into us. But you weren't there either.
You're right.
The very fact that you are telling me that I should believe in the Big Bang Theory, and the word theory by scientific definitions mean, hey, this is the best guess we got.
You're right. You're right.
No, I wasn't there. You wasn't there. So we just gonna believe what we believe, and you're not gonna make me feel dumb for believing what I believe. But,
I have a book. One of my favorite Christian apologists, who actually passed away last year, Dr. Norman Geisler. He wrote a book. And the title of the book is "I Don't Have Enough Faith to Be an Atheist." I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. And he literally, basically what you just said, like, you expect me to believe all of this stuff that you just said, like literally that there was nothing. There was blackness, nothing. And then there was an explosion. What exploded if there was nothing there? Like, you literally believe in this explosion, this dust came down to earth, turned into some protein molecules, who turned into amoebas, who climbed out of the water as a frog, turned into an ape. And then now, here I am. No, I don't have enough faith to believe that.
Yeah.
Easier. There's a I can't think of the name of it now, but there's a saying basically that the simplest explanation is usually the right explanation. It's simpler and easier for me to believe that there's a God and that he created these things as opposed to what they believe. So
yeah. But yeah, so the podcast has been going. I'm picking up doing episodes. So I just recorded an episode last week that I'll be posting this week. Okay. And it's about being Christian and Greek as far as being in a fraternity or sorority. Because let people tell it, if you're in a fraternity, you don't pledge your soul to the devil and you're going to hell, which is also interesting to me. And I had a couple of my close friends. One of my former students, she pledged Delta, and then she denounced, and then one of my fraternity brothers, he denounced Alpha. So I had them on the show to talk about their perspective and all of those type of things. But yeah, that kind of stuff. And I'm about good conversation. We might not always agree, but I can at least listen to your side and see what it is that you're saying and be like, yo, I never thought about that. So like,
y'all talked about that on the first podcast, the first episode.
Yep. So it's just it's going well. I'm getting ready to record another episode. I'm actually dropping. Yesterday we had my dad on talking about Christianity, religion, and racism. So I'm going to turn that into an episode and drop that. So right now it is on Anchor FM, but once you get to 5 episodes, then it moves over to all the outlets. So people will be able to get it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Apple Music, and all those type of things.
Excellent. Cool. Well, brother, I appreciate you being here, man. And before we go, I have a little special surprise. So I know that through your ministry, through Shiloh, you, Apostle Bobby, Apostle Carolyn, you all wanted to well, I know your brother Audio really wanted to, especially during this time of the quarantine and the coronavirus and all of this, he wanted to do something that was going to make people laugh, you know. Right. So he came up with this idea. I'm assuming he came up with it, and you all are supporting it, but you all can let me know. But he came up with these dad jokes of doing he would like pick different guests, and they would just kind of battle and do these dad jokes, and whoever. So I believe the rules are, you know, if me and Audio are going at it, if he says one and I laugh, then he gets the point. If I say one, he laughs, or if I say one and I laugh at my own, then he gets the point. You know? So I thought that was really, really good. It was really, really funny. I was on there one episode, but there were some other episodes that were super funny, man, and I really, really enjoyed them. So I want to bring your brother, Minister Audio Bracy, into the studio, and we can do a couple of them. What's up, my brother?
God bless you, man of God. How are you?
Doing wonderful, man. Man, thank you for waiting, man. I know we were talking about a lot, but I definitely wanted to bring you on. And this is Audio's information at the bottom. You all can follow him on Facebook at Audio Bracy or on Instagram at No Locks Still Fly. And interesting story about that, because he used to have dreadlocks, and I think your name was.
I didn't have dreadlocks, sir. I had locks.
Locks. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Ooh, you got rebuked on your own show.
Already, right? But make sure you follow him on Instagram, No Locks Still Fly, and on Facebook, Audio Bracy. And then Chioke on Facebook is Chioke Bracy. On Instagram is @King Bracy. And don't forget, you can check out anchor.fm for the podcast On God. And like he said, after the 5th episode, it's going to open up and you'll be able to find it anywhere and everywhere.
Can I share one thing real quick?
Absolutely.
God bless you, people of God. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm only on Facebook on Sundays when I have to preach. So if you follow me, it's not going to be any exciting content. If you message me, I'm probably not going to reply because I don't have the Messenger app and I don't read them. Like, I only got back on Facebook to do our Sunday services. So I have messages literally from 2005 in there that I'm not going to read. So God bless you. You can follow me on Instagram if you like, and I might forget to add you. So I'm just saying that to say, don't take it personal if you send me a message and I don't reply, because I'm not looking at them.
Right. Well,
but if you are in need of prayer or anything, you can contact us at Shiloh Deliverance Church International on Facebook.com.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that. All right. So Audio, do you want to go first or you want me to go first? You tell me how you want me to do it. The Right Reverend Dr. Minister Audio Bracy.
You know, at this time, I'm going to kneel down and hand it over to you.
All right. So, why did church people believe that the vampire had the coronavirus?
I don't know why.
He was always coughing.
Okay. That was a good one. That was a good one. Why did...
Wait a minute. Hold on. Why Lavell just add church people at the beginning of that? Like, the joke still work without church people?
Because he extra holy.
Right.
Lavell, believe me when I say this. This is all jokes aside. This is Pastor Chioke Bracy talking to this viewing audience. Lavell Neal, single-handedly, other than my father, is the safest person I know.
Hands down.
Hands down.
Him and the Holy Ghost is like these.
Oh boy.
I agree. I agree 100%. Okay.
Wow.
So,
My bad. Go ahead.
okay. So, why didn't the pasta want to settle down?
Why?
Because it liked being the macaroni.
Mm.
Even if you don't laugh, that blessed my heart.
All right. So there was a man that was talking to God, and he asked God some questions. He said, God, how long is 1,000,000 years? And God said, to me, it's about a minute. He said, well, how much is $1,000,000? God said, to me, it's like a penny. So he said, well, God, can I have a penny? And God said, yeah, wait a minute.
I see what you did there.
Mm.
Yeah, it was actually so holy, almost quickened, so I couldn't laugh because the unction of the Holy Ghost was there. Praise God.
Sometimes you gotta wait.
Sometimes you gotta wait. I had to tarry for that laugh. Amen. So, what do you call a middle-aged man on some stairs?
What?
Stepdaddy.
All right. I think you got a point on that one, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. I got one. Where does the Lone Ranger, this is probably going to date my age here. Where does the Lone Ranger take his garbage?
Where does the Lone Ranger take his garbage? I don't know.
To the dump, to the dump, to the dump, 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 to the dump, to the dump, to the dump, dump, dump.
I'm actually going to steal that one.
Ah.
All right.
Duh.
So, how did Pharaoh make all of his money?
How?
Pyramid schemes.
Nice. Nice. All right. Okay, I got another one similar to the last one.
Okay.
What did the Pink Panther say when he stepped on the ant?
Say that one more time.
What did the Pink Panther say when he stepped on the ant?
I don't know what.
Dead ant, 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 dead ant.
Okay. All right. So, it's one of my favorites. What's red and bad for your teeth?
What's that?
A brick.
Every time I hear this,
It's on you, Bishop.
if I wasn't, I would say that to somebody when I'm getting ready to get into a fight.
You're right.
Because I'm safe.
You're right. That's like the saved version of what did the five fingers say to the face?
Back.
All right. So, what kind of car does Jesus drive?
I don't know.
A Chrysler.
What does
your Arabian eyebrows is the funny part.
He just called you Jafar.
Duh.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Go ahead, bro.
All right. So, what does the lion call his barber?
What?
His main man. That was the laugh. Go ahead, let it out, brother.
All right. Oh, okay. I got one. What do you call Batman when he skips church?
I don't know.
Christian Bale. Thank you. That counts. That counts. Was that Sonya? Thank you, sister.
And that's the only reason you got that point is because she over there really cracking up. Okay.
I'm glad my wife not down here because in the studio because she would be cracking up at yours. You would.
So how many South Americans do it take to screw in a light bulb?
I'm scared. Go. How many?
A Brazilian.
That's good. All right. I only got one more.
Okay, good. Me too.
Okay, good. What do you call a nun in a wheelchair?
I don't know.
Virgin Mobile. Whoa. Was that too far? I'm sorry. When y'all eyebrows went up, I was like, "Oh, yikes!" I probably should have ended at that last one there.
That's funny because it was a guy in the wheelchair that stole my jacket. I just want him to know he can hide, but he can't run. All right, that wasn't my last one. Here's my last one. What was Forrest Gump internet password?
What?
One Forrest one.
All right.
Nope, you didn't like that one? That one wasn't funny. What do you call a beehive with no exit?
What?
Unbelievable.
All right. So, listen, everybody. Now are the dad jokes there? Now, just go ahead and tell the people how can they view? When do they come? When do you do them? And yeah, just go ahead and let us know, my brother.
All right, so dad jokes will happen on the Shiloh Deliverance International website page. Generally, we try to do them on every Friday. If you think you're funny and you want to come on and you know how to keep it holy, message me and we can go at it. Last couple of Fridays, I haven't had anyone to go against me, so I think I'm gonna have to call back Pastor Kellen Brooks from a church out here in Inkster. Also call back Sister Shante Hodger because they did good, but it won't be this Friday, but next Friday for sure.
Okay,
7:00. Shiloh Deliverance International Facebook page. It'll be up on there. Dead jokes, like I said, we just go back and forth, and we just try to have a good time, during this time of the pandemic and all these protests and what they're labeling as riots or unjust riots. I just want to do something to put a smile on people's face. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a lot of stuff that's heavy, and we're just trying to lift spirits, and the best way to do that is with laughter, and the even better way to do that is with corny jokes.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much.
Also, real quick, if you are an artist, also on the Shiloh page, because we just putting out content for people to watch. That's where God is kind of moving us to give good quality content to put out that isn't always necessarily preaching. So I'm starting a segment called New Music Mondays. So if you are an artist, Christian artist, praise and worship, gospel, contemporary, I even put some R&B on there. It's gonna be edgy, but I'm just a lover of music. So if you're an artist and you have some good, clean music to uplift people and get us, and to take our, music allows you to release some things. So if you have some good music, send a message to the Shiloh Deliverance Church International page, and hopefully we might be able to give a listen to what you got and then premiere your stuff on New Music Mondays. A couple of Mondays ago, we premiered the video for Elder Steven Anderson's Back to Love. I was able to work with him on that project. So we premiered that video and all that good stuff. So that's what we're doing too. So if you got some new music, hit us up. and we'll share it with our audience.
R&B just stands for ready and blessed. Praise God.
Amen.
Hey.
Hey, hey, shout out to my wife for this dinner she made too. It's lit. So shout out to Sonya Bracy.
Thank you, Audio. Appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir. God bless.
Bless you. Chioke, man, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I'm gonna let you just have some final remarks before you go, and we put your information back up here. There we go.
For sure.
And, go ahead, brother. Just whatever you want to tell the people. I don't know. You know, I did say at the beginning that you were an entrepreneur. Also, I know you have several business ventures going. So if you want to talk about that, tell people how to reach you or whatever, just go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I thought I was about to have to give like a deep sermon closing, but that's good. Hey, thank you so much for having me on here. Make sure y'all keep tuning in to these quarantine sessions with my brother Lavell Neal. He has content that you can get behind. I'm just thankful to be on here, man. I'm thankful that God is watching me. He's covering me during this time, and I just want people to know that He can do the same thing for you. Listen, God is about relationship. And I want you to take the time to try to build that relationship. And to a certain degree, you can block out the preconceived notions and the pre-made rules that people have tried to place on you and say, you got to do this, you got to do that. You got to be baptized in Jesus' name or in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. If you do this, you're going to hell. If you do that, you're going to hell. And just develop your relationship with God. And then what God will do for you is let you know what's acceptable to Him for your life. If you look at all the people throughout the Bible, different people had different things that was acceptable for them, and some people had things that weren't acceptable. So the laws that Samson had to live by were different from the laws that Moses had to live by. The laws that the Levites had to live by was different than the laws the tribe of Judah had to live by. Now, there are overarching rules, but you have to get a relationship with God so He can let you know what He wants out of you and your life. So I just want y'all to be encouraged. I know it's a lot of crazy things going on, but God is still in control. So God bless y'all. If y'all get a chance, join us on Sunday mornings at 10 at Shiloh Deliverance Church International.org. God ain't told me what to say yet, but He gonna drop it within, because we on the deadline, Lord. So send it on down. And so we'll see you guys Sunday and at 10 a.m. We in and out. You'll be back to slow cooking your corned beef or putting the cornbread in the oven by 11:45, 11:50.
You're right. Brother, thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. I'll be talking to you soon, man. God bless you, brother. All right. Make sure everybody that you go to is scrolling across the bottom there, Shiloh Deliverance Church International on Facebook. You can do it right now. I'm done. So you can go there. Again, follow Chioke on Facebook. I know he said he's not on Facebook a lot, but his messages are. And he's on Instagram at King Bracy. If you want to see some more clips of him and his daughter making music together, rapping, singing, just awesome and amazing. And again, his brother Audio Bracy on Facebook is Audio Bracy, and on Instagram is No Locks Still Fly. So make sure that you follow them so that you can keep up with the dad jokes. He said they won't be doing them tomorrow, but next Friday at 7 o'clock on the Shiloh Deliverance page, you can check those out. So again, I really, truly appreciate my brothers for coming on today. And just want to give you a heads up. Next week, we're going to shift gears a little bit. It's going to get a little, it's going to be interesting. We're going to deal with a topic, a sentence or a paragraph that this atheist, very famous atheist named Richard Dawkins said, and he brought up a very harsh indictment against the God we serve. So we're going to break that down. It's going to be myself, Pastor Ron Daniels, Elder Michael Holloway, and Minister Jermaine James. We're going to just talk about this sentence that this gentleman wrote in his book, Dr. Richard Dawkins. He's a very prominent atheist, and he brought some very harsh indictments against God. So we're going to deal with them, because we don't have to be scared. As Pastor Chioke said, you know, we if you truly believe you have the truth, then we shouldn't be intimidated by anything. So make sure you tune in next Thursday night at 6:30 p.m. The week after that, we're going to be dealing with apologetics with my good friend, Pastor Emery Moss of Strictly Biblical. And then the week after that, I'm still working on this. I talked to Apostle Bobby Bracy today. I'm trying to get him, Apostle Donald Coleman, and Bishop Michael Jones on the show so that we can talk a little bit about race in America and in the church. Go on the Shiloh Deliverance Church page to check out Apostle Bracy did a segment yesterday. Audio was kind of emceeing it or hosting it, and he really broke down a lot of really good stuff. So I really want to have him on the show. He did text me and say he could do it, so I'm still waiting to hear back from Judge Coleman and Bishop Jones, and if they're able to do it, we are going to deal with this topic and this issue. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Please tune in next week at 6:30 for Quarantine with Lavell. We are going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to deal with a very serious topic, but God is able. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I really, truly appreciate you all. Shout out to my wife who's watching right now. Love you, sweetheart. I always want to shout out my wife. Amen. So again, appreciate you all. Don't forget to tune in next Thursday.